Is on time here. We won't hold you up. I think we'll have others join us. We have a lot to cover today. It seems like we always do, don't we? But there's really a lot today, but it's all good. I mean, knock on wood. So let me just start by saying greetings. We're pleased to have all of you here. Can't believe it's our last town hall before commencement. Where did the time go? We welcome everyone who's here. We have a pretty full room, everyone who's joining us virtually. Thanks for being here, and I will ask you before we begin to please join me in a moment of silence for the victims of the recent horrific shooting in Buffalo, their families, all of those lives lost, and everyone close to them, and also our national and world communities in this time of great challenge. Moment of silence, please. Thank you all. Okay, I'm going to really go at a fair clip. Feel free to stop me, and then, of course, we'll have time for questions, comments at the end. First, at our recent Kente graduation ceremony, where Trustee Pamela Gardner offered an inspirational Kente graduation address, I met the mother of our SGA president and soon-to-be graduate, Angel Beebe. By chance, is Angel here? If not, I hope her ears are burning. And I mentioned this at our trustee meeting last week. Angel's fairly modest, but her mom, whom I met there, shared that Angel's been accepted to Smith College in Northampton, Massachusetts with a full $80,000 scholarship. And she plans to major in chemistry and minor in Africana studies at Smith. So we congratulate Angel. And we congratulate all Hudson County Community College graduates. How about a round of applause for our graduates, which we'll be applauding them multiple times between now and the end of Thursday. We're certainly all looking forward to commencement on Thursday. As I think everyone's aware, on Thursday offices will be closed because our office on Thursday will be Red Bull Arena. So all of us are relocating to Red Bull, and that's of course in Harrison, where the ceremony will begin promptly at noon. Hopefully, I know there are a few folks that aren't attending that are actually taking vacation days, but for all that are attending, hopefully you have the instructions you need in terms of time of arrival, and I know that's on our website, and we can certainly answer questions today. As all of us are aware, this will be our first on-ground graduation ceremony in 3 years. Can you believe that? And the first ever at Red Bull Arena, located here in Hudson County. We are expecting, and this is based on the number of RSVPs, we're also asking our graduates how many family members they plan to bring. But I want to emphasize, folks can bring as many people as they want. Our students, there's an unlimited number of tickets, so to speak, for students to bring everyone and anyone they wish, and that goes for everyone else. We have 15 to 20,000 seats in Red Bull Arena. So come one, come all, plenty of parking as well. And when did we last hear that? It's just going to be a great event and a celebration not only of our students, but of the transformational outcomes of our college mission. I do want to thank the scores, and it really is scores and scores of faculty, staff, and students who worked tirelessly to bring this major event on our graduates to fruition. It's a little scary in this new huge facility, but we've got it down. The plans look great. Actually, as we speak, Vice President Lisa Doherty is at Red Bull with volunteers to review plans for the ceremony. And also in the front lines of the planning is Dean of Students, Dr. David Clark, Assistant Dean for Student Life and Leadership, Veronica Gerasimo. I think she's actually working on diplomas right now. And Associate Director in our Office of Student Life and Leadership, Angela Tuzzo, among many others. Thank you, colleagues, everyone who's worked on commencement and all of the other activities that we've been having recently to celebrate our graduates. David Clark, at this point, do you have any remarks you'd like to offer about commencement? There he is. He's here.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. As the president said, this has been a Herculean effort to get all of the nuts and bolts calibrated so that this ceremony goes off smoothly on Thursday. So again, the 45th commencement ceremony, again, is at Red Bull Arena, starts promptly at 12 noon. So in addition to the names that the president mentioned, I wanted to mention more of the core planning committee. Again, this in no way, no shape or form calls out everyone's name, so please don't take offense. But again, Dr. Reber has been very instrumental in the planning from day one. Dr. Darrell Jones, Veronica Gerasimo, Angela Tozo, Jen Christopher, Alexa Rihanna, Liz Betty Farrar, Julio Maldonado, Ilya Ashman, Patricia Clay, Victoria Oriana, Irma Williams, Upasana Sethi Pagan, Nicholas Chevroletti, Jack Quigley and his entire staff of safety and security, all of our deans, Eric Karakashian, Allison Wakefield, Burl Yearwood, Catherine Sorangelo, Pamela Bandio-Pade. Also, Jose Ortiz from the bookstore, Mr. Omar Williams, who is going to make sure, and Christopher are going to be making sure that the live streaming is going according to plan, and we have some other nice addities there. Linda Gustini, Joseph Caniglia, Pega Soror, Jacqueline Safant, Kenneth Malinsky, Priyanka Naik, June Barrier, and also Jay Zaslow, who is one of our organizers. So again, that is not the entire group, but certainly those members who have been core in the planning. I wanted to mention a few housekeeping things. This is a rain or shine event. Just so that you know, Red Bull Arena, all of the seating is covered. So even in the event that it rains, we will be covered. The only parts that are uncovered are going to be the processional and the recessional. So just keep that in mind. Graduates are asked to show up at 10:30 sharp a.m. so we can get you lined up and ready to go. Caps and gowns are still available. If you are still contemplating on whether you want to march in the ceremony, cap and gowns are available Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. at the Journal Square bookstore. So there's still time for that. There is ample parking. There is also shuttles that are going to be running back and forth from the Harrison Path station. So if you decide to take the path, you'll be able to get a shuttle to and from the arena. We have an amazing speaker, Pedro Marshall, who is our class of 2021 valedictorian, who is going to bring some amazing remarks. As most of you may recall, Pedro is a junior attending Princeton University. He is one of 11 students, community college students who were selected from across the country. So he's doing extremely well there. We're very proud of him. And he's going to be offering some remarks along with other speakers and guests. In terms of vaccination and mask mandate, there is none. You follow whatever protocol you feel safe with. If you choose to wear a mask, you can do so. If you don't, there's no requirement in terms of mask. Again, the president said the number of guests are unlimited. Now, tickets are required for entry into the venue. So if you're a student graduating and if you're a guest graduating, you are going to need to download the Ticketmaster tickets. So just go to the graduation button on the website, hccc.edu/graduation. All right. I think that's about it. Oh, volunteers. That's another group of people who I did not mention. We have over 100 plus volunteers. We thank you. We salute you. We honor you because you're going to be doing such, you're going to be doing the groundwork. So we really, really want to make sure that we acknowledge our volunteers, and we'll definitely do something afterwards to honor and acknowledge those. So I think that's it. All right.
Thank you. Thanks so much, David. And every person that he mentioned has played a huge role, and there are others he didn't mention. So it really does take a village. Thank you so much. Dave, did you need these?
Come back and get it. I didn't want to.
Commencement, of course, is the culmination and celebration of our student success. So this segues well into an update about our student success work. A few weeks ago, I shared a letter with our trustees and college community that I received from our Achieving the Dream coaches, Mary Fifield and Renee Garcia, shortly after their recent visit, which was, by the way, their spring visit about a month ago. mark their 7th virtual or on-ground visit at HCCC since we joined the Achieving the Dream Network 3 years ago. The letter offered comprehensive, substantive, and very helpful suggestions for continuous improvement in the many areas related to student success, and there's so much happening that is really inspirational. So now it's my pleasure to invite our Student Success Dream Team co-chairs, Dr. Heather DeVries and Dr. Sheila Dinan, to offer an update on the continuing comprehensive work of the Student Success Dream Team. Sheila and Heather.
Thank you, Chris. I'll lead off with the Mary and Renee visits. We actually have dates projected on our calendar for their 8th visit to campus, and that will be October 31st and July 1st, and we are hoping for an on-ground visit. Heather and Chris and I had a meeting last week with Dr. Monica Trent Parrish from ATD, and the purpose of this was to get some perspective on what we have been doing and what we are going to do, because this is the end of our 3rd year contract with them. And Monica proposed different variations of contracts to continue, and we are waiting on that. And hopefully that will be the pieces that will help us sustain and progress with our ATD projects. The other piece that I have is that the ATD update, and in fact, they had a very good meeting this morning, and I want to thank Doreen and Heather for really looking at how we are going to blend into this more so, because most of JED is based on a lot of the ATD. So what we are doing with the current strategic plan that the JED Foundation sent to us, we are looking at, and we did a great job this morning, to break it down into 3 or 4 different projects. And we will go back, Heather and Heather and Doreen, and I will go back on how we will frame it to look very similar to ATD. So we keep consistency on the things that we are doing. And I want to thank everybody who is willing to become and is a JED team member. Heather?
Thank you, Sheila. Good afternoon, everyone. Just circling back to Mary and Renee's follow-up letter from their April 2022 visit. Again, they had a stellar visit, and thank you to everyone who participated, carved additional time out of your week to meet with them. They certainly had an excellent meeting and highlighted many points of pride, including meeting with the Hudson Scholars administrative team. The Hudson Scholars students was a particularly dynamic meeting, and of course their session with PAC Day. They meet with us for about 12 hours every time they visit, either on ground or virtually. And it turns out, we have so much going on here and so much good work that 12 hours just isn't enough. Mary and Renee graciously offered to spend some additional time with us through Zoom for some of our ongoing projects and initiatives. So we're looking to schedule those for sometime in June, hopefully. So keep an eye out for an invite for some of our ATD implementation teams. At this point, though, I would like to pause and just thank everyone who's been involved with Achieving the Dream as we've moved towards completion of year 3, particularly our implementation team co-leads, and our IR team, John Scanlon and John Argola. Thank you for handling all of the many, many data requests and really keeping us centered and focused on data. And then I'll read in no particular order. Jed Palmer, Dr. Stephanie Callow, Rashida David, Dr. Sean Egan, Kyle Woolley, Laura Samuelson, Dr. Ara Karakashian, Dr. David Clark, Dr. Gretchen Schultes, Catherine Sarangelo, Lisa Sikowitz, Dr. Lori Bird, Dr. Pamela Bandiapatier, Joe Caniglia, Kenny Fabara, Angela Tuzo, Matt LeBrake, and Jackie Safont. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It does truly take a village. And of course, thank you to Dr. Reber, Dr. Jones, Dr. Doherty for their continued support as well, that this is to keep the train on the tracks and keep us moving, and we've made really tremendous progress. We will wrap up our 3rd year of engagement with Achieving the Dream through helping our implementation team co-leads just pull some data points, assess kind of the work that's happened this year, and chart a course for next year. And then Sheila and I will also be providing leadership, and we will be pulling in many voices to help us complete our formal end of year 3 reflection for Achieving the Dream. And this really allows us to tell the story of our year, both in terms of our student success work and as a college and as Jersey City. So it asks us to, reflect back and provide some key metrics on our implementation team or student success work to date. And then also it asks us to take kind of a wider scope of the year and think about both state and local challenges we faced, areas of opportunity, as well as opportunities around the labor market and workforce. It asks us to comment on engagement across campus with our student success work, our DEI work, particularly how we're closing equity gaps. Then at the end, it really allows us an opportunity to truly reflect on lessons learned and our goals for next year. So we really look forward to completing that in concert with many of you. And we will certainly circulate a final draft when it's complete. That is all I have. I will turn it back over to Dr. Reber.
Hi, thank you. Thought it was important I demonstrate my ignorance on this stuff. I guess the question just came to my mind is now that and I'm going to be using absolutely completely incorrect words here since I, like I said, demonstrate my ignorance. So I imagine, Heather, when you said that now this contractual terms with ATD are finished, that there's a kind of a transition into, I guess, the data-driven, goals with the All-College Council, or I imagine even the Academic Senate. So I'm wondering, how does that transition, what does that transition look like? Because my sense of it is that a lot of this stuff is sort of a little bit auxiliary, right? And that there have been committees formed, and I know faculty members are part of it. But I would think that that transition now means that it kind of becomes integral to the Academic Senate's work or the All-College Council. Maybe I'm utterly wrong on that and misguided, but I'm just wondering, is that part of the discussion we'll be having, or is that part of what we are, a new phase that we're looking into here?
I would clarify that, we always take stock at the end of every year and see how we want to evolve our student success work and how we want to continue to engage more people. And I mean, from day one, the Dream Team has always been come one, come all, the more the merrier. So we welcome representatives from across the college to be as engaged as they would like in any of these initiatives. We've actually renewed our, the ATD model is kind of positioned as a 3-year model, initial 3-year commitment, but we've renewed the contract annually, and that's a model we'll continue to follow. So it's really just kind of the next phase of our engagement with Achieving the Dream. We will still have engagement with Mary and Renee. So I think that's all I can say at this time regarding kind of what year 4 looks like.
When you say we, though, does that mean, I may have been under a misunderstanding of it, but I thought that part of what the ATD thing is about is getting the entire school to be more data-driven and oriented towards looking in research that supports decisions, whatever. Mm-hmm. Of course, that doesn't short-circuit discussions or anything. But my general sense is that becomes part of the institutional apparatus. So the All-College Council, the Academic Senate. So I'm just, see, when you're speaking about we, I'm wondering, is that like a separate ATD group, or is there a transition that takes place where it now becomes integrated into the committees of these organs?
It should be fully integrated as it. I mean, we've been talking about data-informed decision-making for 3 years now, and I know on the committees I sit on, I certainly bring it up when we're talking about decisions and recommendations to think about where's the data. Have we looked at enough data points? How can we look at this differently? And really bringing in the consultation of John Argola and John Scanlon, who are always really wonderful kind of sounding boards. So I would really hope it had been trickling down into college-wide conversations, division meetings, SGA meetings, really across the college. Chris, did you have remarks?
Yeah. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me add my 2 cents. So I think there's been maybe a bit of a misnomer, need for clarification.
I apologize.
That's okay. That's what this is all about. So when an institution joins Achieving the Dream, as we did 3 years ago, you commit to 3 years, and then at the end of 3 years, every institution can choose. Do they want to continue working with Achieving the Dream? We actually have some new options in how we proceed going forward. There could be other areas of focus for us, but we're not transitioning out of working hand in glove with Achieving the Dream. But the work has never been directed from them to us. They're partners with us, and what we've been doing over the last 3 years is using their guidance, data, best practice for us as a community to make decisions about where we focus our energy. This has led to huge investment, for example, in institutional research and planning. Most people probably aren't following it, but of course we added John Argola, we added another staff member in this 3-year period. We just finished the comprehensive work with Campus Works, which has informed us about new technology that we need. We're going to be adopting the EAB Student Success Platform. We have over 100 faculty and staff and some students involved on implementation teams around every goal that we have in our Student Success Action Plan. That includes people in Senate, that includes people in the All-College Council. So the work actually, when we talk about transition, it's really, we envision continuing the work and having it evolve as makes sense, as we determine makes sense. The strategic plan was informed by the work that we have been doing. So it's not like we're transitioning out of Achieving the Dream. We do have the option now to choose to have fewer coaches visits, more coaches visits. We can have just one coach, 2 coaches. There are some other modules that we may want to consider. For example, there's a specific track on data and best practices around pre-nursing that we learned about last week that we may bring to that implementation team and see if that makes sense. Does this help, Michael, at all?
Yeah, it does.
So the work continues, but I want to fundamentally say it's owned by us. Mary and Renee and the network have it's all been about their supporting what we determine is, are the issues here. That's the way it's supposed to be working.
I asked some of this because as a member who regularly attends All College Council, the different meetings start to become a blur in my mind, unfortunately. Yeah. But my sense is that the All College Council is a place where we all go and all information of the college filters out there, is discussed there, or whatever. So I guess I was thinking that if there are other projects that are taken on, that they go, or that they're through committees, or even if they're ad hoc committees through the All College Council. So that's.
I think certainly this work should permeate those committees and the work of the All College Council. And if there are ways we can make that more concrete and explicit, let's do that.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Absolutely. So Sheila and Heather, thank you. And thanks again to all who are involved on the DREAM team, student success implementation teams, those leading and supporting the Hudson Scholars Project, which we're going to be talking more about. It's huge in its significance for us, and it's going exceedingly well. And certainly we want to thank all who are contributing to student success throughout the college. And I do want to emphasize, I think it's, if anyone disagrees with this, certainly let me know, but I think everyone that has given feedback on our Achieving the Dream work highly values the support of Mary and Renee, and we envision continuing to have them be engaged with us and to actually have a contract that includes their continuing work with us. They know us really well. They also, by the way, they're constantly touting Hudson County Community College. I know this from my travels. I get called and asked because they've mentioned things to other schools, and some of you do as well. And they have said to us, not to be repeated, I guess, we're their favorite college. So they do coach a lot of colleges. Now, so moving to a different but very important topic, last Tuesday's Board of Trustees meeting was an historic moment for the people of Hudson County Community College. Our trustees approved new 3-year contracts for all 4 of our collective bargaining units: the Professional Association, Academic Administrative Association, Adjunct Faculty Federation, and Support Staff Federation. And very importantly, the trustees also approved the adoption of our new employee compensation and classification system that was created over the past 2 years to provide a structure informed by data to help ensure internal compensation equity, external market equity, and to modernize position descriptions and titles while also addressing issues of salary compression, among other positive outcomes. The trustees further approved resolutions to transition, this is so important to the employees affected, non-represented confidential employees and staff and part-time staff who are not represented into this new employee compensation and classification system in the same manner as union employees. These outcomes reflect the input and contributions of HCCC community members from all parts of our college, and I believe it's fair to say that the outcomes bring us full circle to achieving our shared goal of comprehensive updating and reform of our employee compensation, including equity considerations, really focused on equity considerations, employee support, and ongoing professional development. The outcomes are not perfect. They never are. No one's gotten everything that they wanted in this process, but we've made phenomenal progress that began with our last contract negotiations, and they'll continue as we respond to new and changing circumstances over time. I thank the HCCC Village. I know we're using that word a lot today, but we thank the Village for bringing us to this historic achievement that will make a lasting and positive impact on our college and its people for years to come. And I particularly thank Vice President for Human Resources, Anna Krapitsky, for her leadership of our work with Evergreen. Anna was just traveling abroad, so she has just, she's staying in our office just because that's what we ask people to do when they've traveled abroad for several days. But she's here. We want to thank her for her leadership and our ongoing work now to transition into the new HCCC employee compensation and classification system. I want to speak just a little bit about this today. It's complicated, it's complex, so we recognize we want to bring everyone up to speed with understanding the full implications of this and how we have gotten to this point. So our contracts that have been approved now by everyone, that are now fully approved, have a base set of increases of 3% per year for the next 3 years, successfully, 3, 3, 3. That actually comes off of our current contracts, our 3 years that are expiring on June 30th, that were 4, 4, 4. So initially back in 2019, we knew we had a lot of work to do and a lot of gaps, and the 4, 4, 4 was our collective effort at that time in keeping with resources and what we knew to start getting the ship rated with the understanding that much more needed to be done. So since those contracts, we agreed in the last contract negotiations that we would be working assiduously together to hire an outside HR consultant to actually lead us through a comprehensive market study of our positions relative to similar positions at institutions that are a lot like us, and to use those data as well as college-wide input that they received to recommend a structure that has not existed here ever, which, by the way, is very unusual. I've never seen this before. We're unique, and in a good way, but not, this was a deficiency of ours. There was never, as I think you all know, there was never a system that tried to guide in a data-informed way what we call people, how we title positions, the salary we give to positions. We just did that. We've been doing it as an institution ad hoc. And so it's not surprising that over the years, we had this plethora of plethora of problems, right? We had people with the same titles doing very different work and being compensated very differently and in a way that was not understandable to folks. We had, for years, frankly, the institution didn't, in my view, from what I know, 4 years in, didn't reward employees adequately, even in consideration of all the challenges. And so salaries progressively fell farther and farther out of market because I think we were only getting, 2% increases, sometimes no increases. We had outdated contracts. And then through some benevolent work, through trying to continue to make progress, we did some things that actually also exacerbated problems of compression. So for example, when we made the decision, one that we're proud of, that when faculty receive tenure, they're automatically promoted to assistant professor, which didn't used to be the case. It also created a compression problem because now all of a sudden we had senior faculty that had gone through that separate process and newly tenured faculty who hadn't, and there probably, in the eyes of some, wasn't enough gap or enough distance between the salaries that emerged to recognize that. Similarly, a couple of years ago, we were proud as a college to bring all part-time staff wages to a minimum of $15 per hour. We did that, 2+ years ago. But what that meant is those part-time staff, some got a real lift, but other staff that have been working here for a long time were at about the same salary, $15. That's called compression, where you aren't recognizing a length of service as one of the criteria. So we needed a system to help us do all that. And I'm going to remind us all, so just in terms of the process, we brought in several candidates for the consultant position. At least 3 did presentations open to everyone, and we got your feedback, and we collectively chose Evergreen. I think that has proven to be a good choice. They've really done everything that we wanted them to do, and started pre-pandemic, so 2 years into their work, we now have the recommended new system that was created with benchmark data from 13 community colleges that we got college-wide input into and agreement around. And I do want to just remind us of the process, because I think this is really important for us. This, I hope, is a precedent for how we do these things going forward. And so, but it's not just that simple. So I shared the report from Evergreen with all of you right after we got it. But it isn't that cut and dried. So they had a proposed model, but the question is, how do you transition current employees into the model? Well, that's a complex question. They gave us about 6 scenarios with different price tags, and we chose the second to most expensive, which, so what we have with our new system is every position on the campus has been classified. So we have 20 or so new, never existing before levels of position classification based upon updated job descriptions of the positions and how those positions function elsewhere. Basically things like supervision, budget management, years of service, educational criteria, et cetera. And so every position on the campus now, every full-time position has been assigned to a new classification level. And each of those 20 levels has a 30-year salary schedule. So if you've been here working satisfactorily for 30 years, theoretically you should be at the end, at the maximum of that salary range. When you come in with no experience, you're at the minimum, and you move along this 30-year continuum. And so what we've wound up with is the agreement on the system, agreement on how we're transitioning into it. So what this meant was, on top of the 3% next year that all of our union employees will get, but also all of our full-time non-represented employees will get, about 2/3 of our employees, 2/3 of our full-time employees, faculty and staff, are moving beyond 3% because the data suggested, for whatever reasons, they weren't where they should have been based upon years of service and based upon market. And so it varies individually by employee exactly where each employee comes out. But I can tell you across the board, for all of our full-time employees, the average increase next year will be 7%. But that ranges from 3%, if the study suggested you're really where you should be, Might even suggest you're a little overpaid. Not that we think you are. We're not going to change anybody's salary for it. But if you're where you should be and you don't have to, there is an additional compensation needed to bring you to where you should be in the new model, you're getting 3%. And then depending on your years of service and where you fall, we have some employees getting all the way up to 15%. Frankly, there were a few employees that that really should have gone beyond 15%. We capped it there for reasons of budget, and it just is one of the many criteria that were needed to try to get closure on the big pieces here. In the next week or so, my goal is to send a letter to every full-time employee that will tell you exactly what your current salary is, what your new salary will be effective July 1, what your title will be if it's changing, because we're reducing the number of titles to make sure that we have title consistency. We're also updating some things. So hallelujah, we don't have any secretaries anymore. As of July 1, no one is a secretary. You know, we're getting into the 21st century here. So administrative assistant, there are different titles. And so you should be getting that from me within the next week. We're just trying to make sure we have all the data exactly right and any questions answered. If when you get your letter, you have any questions or concerns, by all means, contact Anna Kropitsky or me, because we want to work through anything that may not still be right. We think we're there, though. So that gives you a little bit of information. So for our part-time staff, they'll be getting a letter from Anna because it's more complex because we have so many and they're in different areas. For our adjunct faculty, since it's a constantly moving array of people that teach for us as adjuncts, they're getting a 7% increase across the board. So their contract is, there are 4 or 5 levels depending upon the years you've been working as an adjunct. Each of those levels of compensation is increasing by 7%. So that keeps it consistent with what we're doing college-wide. Yeah, I think so. Then so we'll have this transition year. Everyone is now in this new model. Then in years 2 and 3 of our union contracts, and it would be also for our non-represented full-time staff, there will be 3% increases in each of the next 2 years on top of the big lift this year. So we're not going to be in a perfect place, but you know, we're now going to be in a different place, different for the better, because it's no longer going to be just a perception of I think my salary is inequitable related to everyone else's. There's now a rationale informed by data for where people are falling, which gives us, I think, it goes a long way to addressing some of those concerns of inconsistency and compression. Our plan is to also update those salary ranges going forward by the Consumer Price Index so that the ranges don't fall out of market over time as happened before. So this may be more than you need. By all means, as we go forward, ask questions whenever you have them. And with that, and I'm sorry it took that long, Anna, would you like to talk at all about next steps? I know you're out there.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Reber. So Chris, I have to say you have been the biggest cheerleader for this historic milestone for the college since you began. And you've been really the one advocating for the collaborative and transparent way that we identified Evergreen, as you mentioned, and then the internal and external information gathering that we needed for this study. I wanted to also highlight that when the Evergreen report was circulated earlier this year, an employee who shall remain nameless, although some of you probably know who this is, tweeted that my institution hired a firm to do a compensation and classification study and has made the entire report with all the recommendations public to the college community. This is how you model transparency. And I couldn't agree more. So also, I guess, keeping up with the theme of the village that you noted in putting this together This is also very quite an all-encompassing one. I have to give my thanks and gratitude to each of the union leadership groups, the college's negotiations teams, and cabinet who have worked really tirelessly in the last few months or the last couple of weeks even in trying to make the most optimum outcome with internal and external equity considerations for all employees, as you mentioned, including our part-time employees and confidentials. So I can't emphasize enough that we all try to do the right thing. So as next steps for Evergreen, now that the board approved the implementation of the system, we will be getting updated job descriptions for each of the classification of titles as part of that system. We will also make these available to each area respectively. So that would be on the lookout for the next couple of weeks, I would say. We will also continue seeking guidance from Evergreen on how best to transition new hires, particular cases, situations, and really just the general ongoing maintenance of the system in addition to the recommendations that have been outlined in the report. As next steps for our own internal village, first, I appreciate those of you who reached out with questions to me directly about your particular placement or with a correction for your dates of service. I know that our mighty HR team and really specifically Anshuma Jain is making way through these adjustments, honoring all corrections. And I'm very grateful for my team's prompt attention to all of the inquiries and reports and updates to ensure that we get it right. That's really the theme here. As we're preparing for the July 1st effective date with new salaries and other adjustments in some cases, we will be, it will really be the hard work of not only HR, but the support of our payroll team, our Lucian ITS and finance teams. So it really does take a village, and I'm just most humbled to be a part of this one. We will also be posting the salary ranges to the public website. We want to continue emphasizing the transparency and equity in our hiring processes. I know that that's been an important theme for many of our managers. And other than that, just thank you for allowing me to support this important work and for making my job meaningful. And I'm happy to take questions at the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Why don't we go ahead and do the questions now before we move on? If there are any questions or comments related to this piece. It always takes a brave soul.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Royal. I'm currently
Hi, Royal.
Hi, I'm currently on staycation. But I could not miss this last town hall meeting for this semester. Everything seemingly moving in the right direction here at the college. I'm so grateful and echo as to what Anna stated, humbled to be a part of this important work. And so I'm excited because now I only can speak for myself, but hopefully it will resonate with all of you in terms of salary. And so I am excited because, you know, there has been individuals, I'm going to speak about myself in terms of going from one position to another position, different roles. And certainly you all know that I'm very passionate about the work that I do, and also grateful to be a part of Hudson County Community College. So I was just elated when I received my email, so I'm just putting that out there. And so with that being said, you said something, Dr. Reber. I just have a comment in terms of not going to be a perfect place, but different for the better. And so that spoke to me in terms of all of the pieces that here at the college is doing, which is one word that I hear you all using today, village. But I want to tag on, if I may, the word would be also success. So I just commend you, Dr. Reber, leadership, Anna, just everyone in terms of what you're doing. And that's it. That's all I had to say. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Royal. You know, I also want to make sure I thank our trustees. They're not here, but, you know, our trustees have provided unwavering support for this work over the past 4 years. They have. None of it would be possible without them. Are there other questions or comments?
Hi, this is Muhammad Imam, and 2 points. One, it is really very, very commendable job from the administration as well as the group who represented, particularly Mike Furlees, because I belong to one of his members. So it is very commendable. Accept our congratulations, gratitude, whatever you want to accept it as. That's point one. And the second request is from Anna. I don't know whether there is any bandwidth, but if it is, if you can send the individual calculations also to each one of us, how did you reach to that number? That will take away a lot of burden and lot of questionnaire from all of us. Because if not, I am also going to send you one more request for that. It's where it seems to be a discrepancy. Thanks a lot for your time and appreciate everybody who really contributed. Thanks.
Thank you, Mohammed. Anna, do you want to respond to that, or you want me to?
Sure, I can respond unless you.
No, go ahead.
So every position classification is tied to an appropriate salary grade. And then the salary grade has a minimum, midpoint, and a maximum that's based on a 30-year professional career. So if you're just starting your career, you would be at a minimum. If you're 15 years into your career or 15 years of service here at the college, you would be at the midpoint. And then if you're 30 or beyond, you should be at least at the maximum. So the way that we, once we identify what your position is, we identify what grade is and the appropriate range, we then use your hybrid years of service to place you along that timeline, basically. And the hybrid years of service is essentially a combination of the full years of service in the most recent position and title that you've had, and half of the credit given to any other time that you've had since you started working at Hudson. And that gives you the hybrid year of service. And so depending on where you are, so let's say if you're 5 years in, you would be apportioned into an appropriately kind of 5-year increment. There's a full Excel spreadsheet with formulas that we've utilized for each single employee for all the appropriate classifications and ratings. So the same formula has been used for each employee. The only difference is your classification title, the appropriate salary grade, and the hybrid years of service that you have at the college. I hope this is helpful.
Thank you so much, Anna. And again, we'll be happy to talk, Mohammed, with you and anyone about the very specific.
Can I add one more request, Anna?
Yes.
I do understand. So is it possible to share the Excel sheet, or as I requested, if there is a bandwidth? I know there is a lot of work to be done and finished. So if there is not, we all understand. But if it is, if you can send the individual calculations, that will be real helpful, and it will reduce the stress from each one of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Mohammed, certainly, I can follow up with you in addition to the notifications that were sent out. I can certainly follow up with any other details that you may want.
I think Michael would like to speak.
Yeah, just address that. So Anna worked very diligently with us. It was a last-minute crunch to get everything in, and her team with getting a letter out that both Sean, Egan, myself, and Anna put together to give faculty the formula by which they can figure it out. It's not a simple formula, but I think we did really the very best to provide faculty with the means of figuring that out. Maybe it's the complexity of it or the confusion, sometimes the language of it. You're like, what does that mean? Or higher date as compared to grade date. But Mohammed, if you want to get clarification on that, I mean, send us some email. But I think that information was provided. Maybe I'm wrong. While I'm up here, so many years ago when Chris was first here, and we came in with a different experience. Different past. We came on very strong, I think, probably stronger than we would today. And one of the things Chris said to us was, trust me. And I said, well, we haven't had much trust here. So, but I think there has been a consistent display on Chris's part, his administration's part, that has made good on every suggestion and claim and agreement that we've had. The Evergreen report was big. We requested something where we would have some analysis of the salaries. Immediately, Chris set up a meeting and we interviewed. I was part of those meetings where we interviewed different companies. I think Evergreen was the best. I've heard really good things about them from other colleges. And to be honest, we met with Jeff Ling, as Chris knows, who's a wealth of information, and I think will provide us with that report. Provides us with some very important information and thought about moving forward. So my great thanks to Chris, his commitment to equity, and I think, as Chris has also mentioned, we still have things to work on and do, and that's great. I mentioned this to the trustees. I won't take up much time here, but what I think is probably of paramount importance here is that we can disagree, and those disagreements allow us to sort of weigh in and hear different sides and to reformulate our understanding. And ultimately, I think we all strive to find some unifying position and point. And I think that's maybe changed much of the union's position, as if I can maybe suggest it, the president's position. Last thing I want to say is all of this stuff is very important, not just for our ability to have a better life, middle-class life, not to teach gazillions of classes in order to be able to meet our salary needs. It also filters down to students. It dramatically filters down to the time we can spend with students, the time we can spend on campus. We should not be teaching machines. We need to be part of the culture and life of the college. And this goes a long way to helping that. I think it needs to go much further, of course. That would be my position. And we want to talk about many other things like promotions and things like that. But we have made some giant leaps forward. And if you want to just listen to John Coltrane on that, you'll get a better version. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. I think, we've talked a little bit about this, some of the union leaders and the administration. I think we have captured the way collective bargaining is supposed to work here. I'm really proud at how we have worked together. I was raised in a union family. I have always been a proponent of unions, but I don't like some of the really nasty adversarial kinds of discussions that seem to happen so often that unfortunately I think don't reflect well on what collective bargaining is supposed to be. We're doing it the way it's supposed to be done, I believe. I think, Michael, the last time we won the best contract throughout New Jersey, I hope we win it again. I can't imagine that we wouldn't, but anyway, it's a point of pride for all of us. Any other comments or questions? Well, thank you again, Anna, and everyone. This is a fine example of the dedicated, collegial, and respectful community, which we all call family, that was recognized last month by the National Institute for Staff and Organizational Development and Insight into Diversity magazine when they named Hudson County Community College one of the 24, quote, most promising places to work in community colleges across America. And this weekend and early next week, I'm looking forward to joining a team of, I think, some 11 Hudson County Community College colleagues at NYSOD's annual conference in Austin, Texas, where Hudson County Community College will be recognized and presented with this highly meaningful award. Attending the conference with me will be Dr. Sirhan Abdullah, Jonathan Cabrera, Karen Gowie, Linda Guastini, Dr. Nadia Headley, Dr. Darrell Jones, Nicholas Mongol, Dr. Abdallah Matari, Dr. Gretchen Schultes, and Lisa Williams. And if I've left anyone out, I apologize. Most of these folks have also received excellence awards from NYSOD and will be presented those excellence awards at the conference. And I want to do a special shout out to Lisa, who leads our engagement with NYSOD. Thank you. Congratulations, everybody. And also at last Tuesday's meeting of the Board of Trustees, 9 of our full-time faculty colleagues were promoted following the review and recommendations of our Faculty Promotion Committee and the recommendation of Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Darrell Jones. Darrell, will you please speak briefly about these valued colleagues?
Thank you, Chris. And let me just make additional comments regarding NYSOD. NYSOD, thank you, Nicole Johnson, for your financial support of the foundation to allow us to get to NYSOD. So thank you very much. And also, though I'm here to talk about promotion, and I will share information about the faculty that recently promoted, but I want to make a comment based on what Michael said about the negotiations, and there's still work to be done. And I have to share with everyone that around the negotiation table, both parties bring their list of items that they want to see, things they want to add, things that they want to take away. And I'm very proud of the commentary around the promotion process. And at the end of the day, I feel confident in saying that from the administrative perspective, there was a clear recognition of the teaching excellence that our faculty bring to us. There was some asks that we pushed back on. We leaned in on some things, but I think at the end of the day, as it relates to promotion and the other items, we have reached a happy medium to continue to recognize what our faculty do for teaching excellence, what they do for professional development, what they do in the fulfillment of professional responsibilities, and also that all-important commitment to the community and also to the college. So it was a good process that I think we ended on a very good note. As Chris mentioned, last Tuesday, the Board of Trustees approved 9 faculty for promotion this year, and their approval was based on the recommendation of Dr. Reber and also the work of the promotion committee. And the promotion committee had an arduous task of really evaluating professional portfolios of those candidates who were eligible for promotion. And I like to call those portfolios for promotion the brag book. The faculty have an opportunity to really tout the things that they're doing and tout why they're doing and how it impacts their professional growth and also assist our students with their teaching and learning. And it ultimately came down to those 4 criteria. The evaluation of those criteria and being able to award the promotion. And I think that most of us, as you heard, if you were at the Board of Trustees meeting last Tuesday, you heard the backgrounds, you heard the accomplishments of our faculty, and it was a good reminder on how accomplished our faculty are. It was a reminder for many of us that I've heard that our faculty are not only degreed, they're skilled, they're talented, they are professional in their interactions with their colleagues and also with our students. And most importantly for me, they are committed to the success of our students. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. So at this time, I'd like to share with you the names, and I think we have photos of our faculty who were approved for promotion. Antonio Acevedo joined Hudson County Community College in 2013 as a lecturer. We called him Tony. Tony holds a master's in history from San Diego State University and a Bachelor of Arts in history from California State University. He is on various committees, including the Committee to Revise the All-College Council Charter, the Joint Task Force on Coordination, and the President's Advisory Committee on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. In 2018, he also served as lead editor for the Middle States Accreditation Self-Study Report, and in the past, Tony has been the advisors to the Honors, Student Council, and the music clubs. Allison Bach. Allison was hired as an adjunct in 2009. She holds an MFA in creative writing and fiction from Sarah Lawrence College and a Bachelor of English from Middlebury College. She served as the chair of the General Education Committee. She is a member of the Online Learning Advisory Committee and the Scoring Committee, among others. And Allison was the proud recipient of the Metropolitan College's Institute for Teaching improvement, and fellowship at Columbia University. And as a reminder, promotion from assistant professor to associate professor, Tony Acevedo. Allison Bach, also promoted from assistant professor to associate professor, is Joseph Gallo. Joseph began his career at Hudson County Community College as an adjunct instructor and was hired as a full-time instructor of theater in the fall of 2013. Joseph holds a Master of Arts in Playwriting from Ohio University and a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism from Rowan University. He has served on various college-wide and community committees over the years. He has years of service in film, TV, and theater development. Joseph was the recipient of the 2021 New Jersey Theater Alliance grant for New York. Also promoted from assistant professor to associate professor, Dr. Jerry Lamb. Jerry joined Hudson County Community College in 2013 as an instructor of criminal justice. To say the least, he has an impressive educational background. He holds a doctorate in educational leadership from Nova Southeastern University, a master and a bachelor of science in criminal justice from John Jay College. And Dr. Lamb also holds a master's of science in administration and supervision from Bernard Baruch College and a master of arts in education from Hunter College. He serves on the Internal Review Board and is chair of the Academic Affairs Committee and was elected member of the Board of Education in Englewood, New Jersey. Dr. Arzah Mahmoud, also promoted to associate professor, started his career at Hudson County Community College as an instructor in chemistry in 2013. He holds his PhD from the University of Rhode Island and an MBA from Rutgers University. He is a 2019 recipient of the Philip Johnston Award for Excellence in Teaching and a recent recipient of the National Science Foundation Advanced in Technology Education Grant for strengthening community college and workforce partnerships in construction management. Dr. Mahmoud developed and is a coordinator for the AAS in Construction Management degree program. He is a sought-after consultant in analytical chemistry, process design, and development. Denise Roselli, also promoted to associate professor, began her career as an adjunct instructor in 2009. Presently, she is working towards completion of her EDD in higher education leadership on the community college track from Rowan University. She holds a Master's of Arts in Clinical Counseling Psychology from Fairleigh Dickinson University, and Denise has served as chair of the All College Council, co-chair of the Middle State Standards 7 Subcommittee, and the President's Advisory Search Committee. Robin Anderson Singer, also promoted to associate professor. Robin was hired as a full-time early childhood education instructor in 2014. Robin is working towards her PhD in teachers education and development at Montclair State University. She anticipates completing her degree in 2023. She holds a Master's of Arts in Education of Children with Learning Disabilities from Columbia University. She serves as the American Education Research Association and the International Dyslexia Association, and she served on the Curriculum and Instruction and Student Life Committees here at the college. Robin is the recipient of a 2018 NISOD Excellence in Teaching Award. And the next two faculty are promoted from associate professor to full professor. Dr. Salim Endowed began his teaching career at the college as an adjunct faculty in STEM in 2006, and he became a full-time instructor 2 years later in 2008. Dr. Endowed also served as the interim dean of STEM from 2018 to 2019. He holds a PhD in neuroscience and a Master of Philosophy and Biology from the Graduate Center of the City University of New York. In addition, he holds a Master's of Science in Neuroscience from the College of Staten Island. Dr. Endowed developed the biotechnology, cell biology course for the STEM division. He has served on many committees, including the All College Council, Academic Affairs Council, Tenure and Sabbatical Board, Coordinator Task Force. Dr. Endowed is the recipient of the Academic Excellence Award in Neuroscience from the College of Staten Island in 2009. And finally, Dr. Valino Josel was hired at the college as an instructor in biology in 2010. He holds a PhD in leadership from higher education, a PhD in leadership for higher education from Capella University, a Doctor of Medicine degree from the Medical University of the Americas, and a Master's of Science degree in microbiology from Seton Hall University. Dr. Valino, or Dr. Josel, has served as chair of the Academic Affairs Standing Committee of the All College Council, a member of the President's Task Force on College Completion, the Curriculum and Instruction, and Professional Association Cultural Committees. Dr. Josell is also on the advisory board for the Center for Teaching, Learning, and Innovation. He is the 2007 recipient of the National Society Leadership and Success Award, Excellence in Service to our Students. Congratulations to all of our faculty. Let's give them a round of applause. And lastly, I can take my seat. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Pamela Panapadier, who chaired the promotion committee, and all of those who served on it. It is a particularly important assignment, and I appreciate the challenging work of each of the committee members. While the number of applicants to review this year, with the large number of applications to review this year, the committee contributed a great amount of their time and their thought to making this process successful. Thank you to all who served, Anna Krapinski and yours Pujols, and our esteemed faculty, Claudio Delgado, Jeremiah Typin, Mohammed Iman, Dr. Sirhan Abdullah, Catherine Buckley, Dr. Peter Cronrath, Kathy Seidman, Courtney Payne, and Dr. Ara Karakashian. Thank you very much.
Wow. As we've often commented, a college is not about its buildings and facilities as much as we're proud of those. It's about its people. What a fine, fine group of faculty promotees who represent excellence all across our faculty and across the institution. And, a reminder that our strategic plan has a focus on professional development. We value this as an institution that wants to be a place that everyone can grow and develop and reach their, their dreams. And whether it's eCornell or AQ or Title IX, or very importantly, I want to share with you that we have right now over 40 members of the faculty and staff who are pursuing their next academic credential, and over 20 who are currently pursuing their doctorates with support from the college. And we're proud. So congratulations, Tony, Allison, Saloon, Joseph, Valino, Jerry, Azar, Denise, and Robin. On Wednesday, June 8th, I'll attend the quarterly meeting of the Aleutian North America Executive Advisory Group in Reston, Virginia. This organization consists of technology and educational leaders throughout the United States and Canada. I've been invited to be a guest speaker and will participate in an open interview during their luncheon meeting, and my comments will be focused on our highly successful and increasingly highly successful Hudson Scholars Program. And the next day, on Thursday, June 9th, I'll be interviewed by the American Association of Community Colleges Senior Vice President for Public Relations, Martha Parham, on her monthly 30-minute AACC podcast to discuss Hudson Scholars. And joining me in this interview will be our co-leads for this program, Dr. Gretchen Schultes and John Ergola, who have led the Hudson Scholars Project with dedication and excellence. And as I said earlier, Hudson Scholars is making a very positive impact on our students. Thank you, Gretchen and John. You are doing a fantastic job. And last week, I was interviewed by Hispanic Outlook on Education regarding our college's work to support Latino students with a focus on our student success and diversity, equity, and inclusion priorities. And I'm not sharing this, I want you to know, I'm not sharing this at all for self-aggrandizement purposes. I mean, the president gets asked as the representative of the college to do these things. I think these are points of pride for the college. Hispanic Outlook on Education is one of the most widely read magazines focused on Latino education in America. So I think it's so affirming and a tribute to so many members of our HCCC family who are involved in this work to be experiencing a noticeable increase in national interest regarding HCCC best practices. And with that, I'd like to now invite yours Pujols, Lisa Williams, and Jose Lowe to update us on the work of PAC Day and the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Colleagues.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will speak first, and then Jose and Elisa will give us an update on the work that is happening within the goals of PAC Day. And I will take this with me when I finish, Chris. Again, it's a pleasure to be here with all of you in person and the ones of you in TV land, North Hudson or from home. First, I want to start by talking a little bit about Title IX. Chris talked about professional development, how important that is. And on the 12th of this month, we had 2 sessions of Title IX training. Unlike the first few sessions that we had that relied heavily on the laws and the revolutions, this mostly focused on the case studies of chilling climates, hostile climates, environments, and essentially broke down the differences, the commonalities, and what we as as practitioners in the field need to know and what need to do to make that better. It was really rewarding to see the engagement that came out of that. Students in particular that were really involved, providing their perspectives, their experiences of what should happen. I'm confident that the takeaway was that people were able to understand the differences between the two, and also what was the role, what is the role within it. And of course, the summation was, if you see anything, report it. So I think we got to that point. I want to thank Anna Kopritsky, Vice President for Human Resources, for her partnership, her support, and for being a partner in all of this work related to Title IX and gender equity work that we're doing. When it comes to diversity, equity and inclusion, the Diversity and Inclusion eCornell program, so far we have 19 participants from cohort 2 who will be completing the program tomorrow. So that would be 2 cohorts that will be wrapping up their session. We have 16 confirmed participants for cohort 3. That's going to be running between June 8th and August 2nd. We still have a few seats available, so if you're interested, please feel free to reach out to Amala Akbar. So we could put you in there. One note that I want to make, if you are currently participating on Enroll, just be mindful of the dates, the work, because if for some reason you're not able to complete it, we ask that you drop the class right away, because there's no cost associated with that, and then you can just redo it and carry it on. But if you sign up for the program, it starts, and you're not able to complete it, then there's a fee that we're hoping to avoid, and that would help us maximize the number of people that would finish up with the credential at the end, right? When it comes to the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Student Passport program, the program held its completion ceremony on Friday, May 13th. 21 students completed the program, and again, that's the work we do really comes down to the student experience, and those students become ambassadors. They go on to serve in committees, in councils, and whenever you have a training, case study discussion, they're the ones that are there providing feedback, and elevating the work that all of us are doing. The next speaker, Wajad Ali, we have him scheduled for June 9th. It's going to be between 11:30 to 12:30. And I just wanted to give a little bit of introduction of who he is and what he's going to be speaking up, right? Growing up, living in suburban American dream, John Young Ajawad devoured comic books, which were devoid of brown superheroes. And he fielded well-intentioned advice from uncles and aunties. Become a doctor, that's what they told him. He had turmeric stains under his fingernails, was accident-prone, suffered from OCD, and wore husky pants. But he was as American as his neighbors, with roots all over the world. Then when Ali was studying in the University of California, Berkeley, 9/11 happened. And I think, given our geographic location where we are, 9/11 is really, relatable to all of us, right? Muslims replaced communists as the America's enemies #1, and he became an accidental spokesman and ambassador for ordinary, unthreatening things, Muslim or Muslimi, as it's in the description. Now in middle-aged dad, Ali has become one of the foremost and funniest public intellectuals in America. In Go Back to Where You Came From, he tackles the dangers of Islamophobia, white supremacy, and chocolate hummus, peppering personal stories with astute insights into national security, immigration, and pop culture. In this refreshingly bold, hopeful, and uproaring memoir, Ali offers indispensable lessons for culminating a more compassionate, inclusive, and delicious America. So it's really, we had a lot of conversations about his work, and it's really exciting. We just want to encourage all of you that are able to participate and to be there, to just carry on the dialogue on this other dimension. And from the Latino Advisory Council of Hudson County Community College, we just wanted to share that we're holding our first large-scale program called Hudson Escasa. It's an educational and community fair. It's going to be taking place on Saturday, June 25th. This program will take place at the North Hudson campus. And it's important to know that it's held, planned, and will be executed by the council members. The council members that are there providing their ideas, they're actually actively going to be developing and working at the event. And this will be the first of many programs in which we're engaging the community, bringing the outside perspective. And, in addition to the council members, I just wanted to thank and recognize Matthew Fessler, Associate Dean of Enrollment Services, and Jennifer Christopher, Director of Communications, for their participation and make sure that we're able to roll out this program. Cultural Affairs, very briefly, the department, it's really connecting well with the local community, specifically the local schools. And our first showcase is Jersey City Public Schools. The first week of April, to honor Poetry Month, high school poetry festival, there were 200 participants that came to the gallery, just walked around to see all the showcase work from the students. The next one is Jersey City High School Expo. That's going to take place between June 1st and June 20th, and it's going to be visual arts and performing arts, again, from the high school students. And it's going to be showcased there, and we're also going to tie that into our Juneteenth celebration. Because it's going to be taking place at the gallery. We want to make sure that we have a holistic approach with various layers to that. So more to come on that. And when it comes to accessibility services, we're trying to beef up the training session for faculty. We have some general sessions, but we want to make sure that we go more into the specifics, that we build out our list of resources, our bank of resources on the website, and that we provide, similar to Title IX, like a case study-based analysis in which we'll get a topic, we invite the faculty, and then we'll have conversations to share our experiences, lessons learned, and hopefully evolve the program. And from PAC Day, I want to say that we're working on the PAC Day bylaws. They should be out very soon. And, that we'll be able to share with all of you. And I just wanted to add, as we wrap up this semester and the academic year, I look back and I was like, wow, I've been in this job almost a year. It was June 1, right? And I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank all of you. The work, in order for this work to be meaningful, it cannot be done by a person or by a group of persons, right? It has to be done by everyone. And us, the work that we've done at Hudson, we are a best practice. That's probably one of the reasons why, Achieving the Dream, they're always looking back and I was like, why are you guys doing that? But, that's to your credit, all of you. And I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank and recognize. And again, I want to apologize if I leave anyone out, but I just want to mention the offices, certainly the Office of the President, because that provides the leadership and the vision for all of this that happens. The Office of Student Life and Leadership, the Center for Teaching, Learning, and Innovation, Faculty and Staff Development, and so many others. Again, I would just probably spend the day here talking and mentioning people, but thank you for all of you for participating in this in a collective way through your offices and at an individual level. Like whenever we call on you, hey, Omar, would you like to participate in this conversation? The answer that we get is always yes. And I want to say thank you. And with that, I want to pass it on to my partners, Lilisa and Jose, to say their piece. Thank you.
Thank you to our Vice President of DEI and my co-chair, who you will be hearing from in a second, Jose Lowe. And thank you to also Christopher, Dr. Reaver. Thank you so much for inviting us and giving us this opportunity to share some of the exciting work that is coming out of the group PAC Day, President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Also, just like to thank all of the PAC Day members for all of their effort and their work attending. Can you believe it? Since 2019, November, we've attended every single month. We haven't missed a month of having PAC Day meetings, maybe in the summer, just that 1 month that we haven't met. But it's amazing that people are that committed, and that means all of you, those of you who are part of that. I also just want to say that I think we have about 5,000 or more students at the college, 5 or 6,000 or so, and that it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot to really serve them and do the things that we do. And so for all of those who are part of PAC Day, a part of Achieving the Dream, a part of all the other committees here at the college and the areas departments, it's because of you that we have that steam and that we have that energy to do that work to serve all of our students. And so we really appreciate those comments from Achieving the Dream. They were at our last they were at the monthly meeting in April, and they really shared how they felt that PAC Day has made a difference in the equity and success work of our students here at the college, something that they are not used to seeing at other colleges. So we just also want to be thankful to all of our employees that are a part of PAC Day. And wherever you work and you're doing this work, you don't have to be a member of PAC Day to do the work. Everybody is doing the work. But I want to talk just for a moment about a couple of the projects that Goal 1, we call it Goal 1. They're a subcommittee. They have 2 subcommittee chairpersons. The chairpersons, Veronica Gerasimo and Michelle Vitale. Veronica, as you well know, is very busy right about now, getting everything, her team and all the offices that they work with for our graduation coming up in just a few days. Also for goal number 2, the subcommittee chairs for that goal, that is Myrta Sanchez and Chris Conzen. For a long time, we had Amala Ogborn, so she's still very integral in our leadership part of that group. So I just wanted to share. So for goal 1, then I'll be out of your way. So for goal 1, some of the things they're working on is making sure that our students have a good connection with the community and leaders of the community and entrepreneurs. So that's one of the projects that they've been working on for a while. And also they are putting together, they're part of a group putting together a retreat, a PAC Day retreat, which will be for the PAC Day members, but we'll probably invite others as well. Also, they will be working on the Juneteenth celebration. That'll be happening here next month. For goal number 2, a couple of things that they're working on that's really big is they're still finalizing and drafting some edits for a exit strategy. So when employees leave the company, making sure that we're able to use that information to make more improvements and more adjustments. And also they are also looking at some recruitment strategies to make sure that we can recruit a more diverse faculty and other staff as well. That's all I have. Jose?
So every month, you guys get to see Lilisa and yours come up here and talk to you about PAC Day. But PAC Day is not only us. PAC Day is a whole group of folks that come in and meet every month to discuss issues that it practically affects all of us. So, I want you guys to think about that. PAC Day is not only us 3, but it's also a group of folks that are also among us, but that share the same goals and objectives. And we're very proud of that. It's been a year that I've been co-chair with Ms. Williams, and it's been a great, great experience. So I'm also very proud and thankful for the opportunity. On Friday, May 6th, Dr. Jones and I attended a presentation by the Educational Advisory Board, also known as EAB, on the Middlesex College campus in Edison, New Jersey. The presentation titled Hallmarks on an Anti-Racist Institution touch upon the diversity, equity, and inclusion work we have reached during the inception of PAC Day. From EAB, the presenter was Ms. Angela Street, and she discussed several points of a book that she recommended. The book titled The Agile College, How Institutions Successfully Navigate Demographic Changes by Nathan D. Grohl. The book's central premise is that by the year 2025, colleges are expected to be more diverse, and this level of diversity will have a direct impact on retention programs and recruitment initiatives. I'm halfway done with the book, and I recommend it to everybody here. If you're looking for a summer reading material, this would be a great book to pick up. Mrs. Street's PowerPoint presentation was sent to me by Dr. Jones, and I shared that with my colleagues. And we're going to start talking about a little about how this book can be implemented into the PAC Day goals in the upcoming months. So please stay tuned about that. Also, a faculty DI survey was sent to all faculty members. The President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion are interested in hearing from faculty about how DI principles and content are integrated into the classroom. The council also would like to know how the college can best support faculty to promote inclusive teaching. So faculty members, please complete the survey that was sent to all of you. Once again, responses will be anonymous. Also, the ALICE training course email was sent last week. And this is a course that will teach you on situational awareness during an active intruder situation. So those are the two of the most important things that are happening on Group 3 and Group 4. Once again, thank you very much and have a great summer.
Wow, thank you so much, Jose, Lalisa, and Njrc. We're all enormously grateful for your leadership. Last week, Hudson County Community College students participated in the new Mission 50 County Pitch Competition in Hoboken. Our students gave a presentation about their biodegradable golf tee project under the guidance of Professor Clive Lee and coached by Professor Lester McCrae and Director of Faculty and Staff Lalisa Williams. And our students' presentation was excellent. We congratulate Timothy Moore, Amber Gutierrez, Isaiah Montalvo, and Amar Arzlevich. And we also thank our HCCC judges who offered feedback to our students as they were preparing their presentation. Thank you, Dr. David Clark, Dr. Heather DeVries, Nicole Johnson, and Jose Lowe. And a very special thanks to college lecturer Sharon Daughtry for her leadership and coordination of our Mission 50 activities. I want to take this opportunity to thank, I know this is a long meeting, we're getting to the end here. Thank you for your perseverance. There's so much important stuff happening. I want to thank Vice President Nicholas Chevrolotti for his continuing stellar leadership of all aspects of our tower planning. Nicholas, will you please update us on the tower plan revisions? This is a constantly moving project, and the revisions that are informed by many of our community members, as well as other aspects of the project. Dr. Chevrolotti.
Thank you, Chris. I am going to be brief, and I'm going to try to use an abbreviated presentation. I think, can everyone see it on their screen and in the room? So we've had a lot of progress over the last several months, as I reported at ACC, and I really do appreciate everyone's input. A couple of major design changes have occurred in the tower. One is the expansion from 10 stories to 11 stories. This allows us to incorporate all our student facing needs, our student service needs, as well as faculty office space in the tower. It also allows us to more flexibility as we consider the future of 119 Newkirk after the tower is constructed. So quickly, we have an 11-story structure. We still have the gymnasium, the black box theater. We still have 21 general classrooms, as well as 2 or 3 additional CEWD classroom space. At the end of this exciting project, we will have more classroom space, better classroom space, more and much better and much improved faculty office space, and that is due in large part to the input from faculty, which will continue as we move through this process. The project costs, we have it estimated at $91.1 million. We have identified 65% of that, and we have already initiated conversations with the county for funding up to $35 million or 35% of the project. Those conversations with the county are ongoing, but they've been very positive. Chris has participated in those conversations. The county executive is very supportive of the project. That being said, I wanted to provide a tentative schedule for how we go from where we are today to moving in to the new tower. Beginning this month, we are preparing bid documents. So over the next several weeks, many of you I've already been engaging with and speaking to, we'll have more detailed conversations with the architect so we can finalize the bid package by July of 2022. We want to go out and advertise bids in August or September and keep the bids open for 3 months. The bid document will be for the actual construction of the building. We would hope to have those returned to us in November, December, and then be able to award a contract in January 2023. This presumes that the financing from the county has come through, which we're confident on, but we're also continuing to pursue other financing avenues. We then have roughly a 30-month build-out for the project, which would bring us to April or June of 2025. April is the deadline that we've set because of the sale of 162, 168, and 70 Sip Avenue. I think from all practical standpoint, the administration and the board recognizes that we're not going to be relocating offices at the tail end of the spring semester in 2025. So that is the schedule as we see it. And that is, Chris, the quickest that I can do a presentation on the tower. I am open to any and all questions or feedback.
Thank you, Nicholas. Questions for Nicholas?
Yeah, hi, Nicholas. First of all, thanks an awful lot. You've been tremendous in keeping the process open and integrating faculty concerns. I think it's better not just for faculty, but for the students and the way that's been arranged for classrooms and divisions. So many big thanks for you. My one question is, in terms of when the contract is awarded, is it possible then that further changes to the design of the building takes place or no? Or in other words, once they get the design of the architects, is that pretty much it in terms of the design, or is it a possibility that the design can be changed yet again by builders who say, no, this is better this way, or that's better that way?
No, by the time we get the bid responses, the design, by the time we put it out to bid, the design is finalized in our mind. Now, during the life of a project, when bidders respond, there may be some suggested changes for cost savings and additional value engineering. And as we're building the building, there may be change orders because of, a number of reasons, everything from supply chain issues to the fact that, technology has changed or what have you. But when we go out to bid in August, Michael, we're considering the design of the building final, but anticipating that in the marketplace, you do have change orders that come up.
Okay, again, many thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, Al? Al, did you say Al Williams?
Yes, Albert Williams.
There you go. Hi, Albert.
All right, great. So my question is, so the bid document that you're talking about going out, is that for the general contractor?
Yes.
Okay, great. And also, is there a percentage of work that is designated to go to local, small, and disadvantaged businesses?
So it's a very good question, Albert, appreciate it. So under the county college operates under two different regulatory structures. We try to follow, to the best of our ability, the county structure, which has requires a project labor agreement, which requires local hiring, and which requires minority representation. Now that's what we will follow, and then we make that fit within what is the community college capital law, which is the state law, which hasn't been updated for 30 plus years, and we still have to have workarounds. because just so for everyone's edification, whenever the state has updated school building laws or public bidding laws, for whatever reason, the community colleges have not been included in that. But what we have done throughout our buildings is follow the county regs, and that includes protections for organized labor, credits for local hiring, and then in addition, focus on minority hiring, minority contractor hiring.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Nicholas. Okay. Obviously, if you have
Chris, if I
questions-
may,
yeah.
just James Cox, any spelling errors were not mine. Thank you, though. I'll make sure they're corrected.
Keep the questions coming as you have them. We continue to make progress in serving and educating individuals incarcerated at the Hudson Correctional Facility and reentry citizens through the Governor's Reentry Training and Employment Center in Kearney. And recently we learned that Hccc has been selected by the United States Department of Education as one of 73 2- and 4-year colleges and universities to participate in the National Second Chance Pell Experiment. This is an initiative first launched by the Obama-Biden administration to make federal Pell Grants available to incarcerated individuals enrolling in participating post-secondary educational programs. Our selection to now enter this experiment allows us to immediately begin offering Pell Grants to incarcerated individuals pursuing education and training at Hccc. And our selection acknowledges and expands our work that's been underway for more than a year to serve incarcerated individuals in the Hudson Correctional Facility and reentry citizens through the Governor's Reentry Training and Employment Center in Kearney. And coincidentally, the Board of County Commissioners recently approved a $300,000 grant to Hccc to double the number of incarcerated individuals taking our courses in the Hudson Correctional Facility, adding a new cohort of women. This is truly life-changing and community-serving work that we're proud to be undertaking. We thank Lori Moore-Golan, Dr. Heather DeVries, and their colleagues for leading this work, and we thank and congratulate Dean of Financial Aid, Sylvia Mendoza. By the way, I'm trying to use some new titles. For leading Sylvia has led our successful application to the U.S. Department of Education to be selected as a Second Chance Pell Experiment institution. Heather and Lori, any brief update that you would like to offer? They're both here.
Thank you, Chris. Got the hint that this should be quick. So in terms of what's new, we've completed classes for the spring. Workforce classes are ongoing. We will have classes beginning in the summer. There'll be an info session and orientation for students later this week, and early June. We'll be offering CSS 100 on the academic track and computer classes on the workforce track for this summer, as well as the Women Rising classes. We also had a really engaging meeting with all of our partners to debrief about year one and talk about year two, and it was really great to come together and look at our successes and the challenges we have ahead. In terms of Njrc, we just completed a basic computer class that we ran there, which was really successful, and they've asked us to provide more to them. So, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll just round out the Njrc update. We have 5 students enrolled in the Culinary Hot Food Proficiency Certificate. They finished their first class in the spring semester last week. And we thank Dr. Kay and Chef Robert Bennett for really just being so accommodating and so welcoming to this cohort of students. And this 5 students are scheduled to complete their Hot Food Proficiency Certificate curriculum this summer. And we look forward to celebrating their accomplishments at the end of August, hopefully. Thank you.
Really fantastic. Thank you, Heather and Lori. I'm pleased to share with you that our Hudson County Community College Foundation Board Director, James Egan, and his wife, Kathleen Egan, have made a $50,000 gift to the foundation to support the college in areas yet to be determined. Jim's been a member of the foundation board for 17 years, and he's been a tireless advocate for our students. We thank Jim and Kathleen for their generosity, which will also inspire others to support our students in our college. We also thank Foundation Board Chair Monica McCormack Casey and her family, who've established the Richard J. McCormack Endowed Scholarship. in honor of Monica's late brother, Rich, who passed away tragically last November. The scholarship will be awarded annually to Jersey City students majoring in political science or journalism who have demonstrated financial need. And Vice President for Advancement and Communications, Nicole Johnson, is leading the development of an annual employee giving campaign that will encourage Hudson County Community College employees to support the college through payroll deduction or other means that best align with their interests and preferences. The campaign will be launched early next fall and will facilitate employee giving to support featured areas of need. We've always had employees that give to the college, and we're enormously grateful for that. We're trying, though, to now facilitate opportunities for employees to give in more specific areas that may resonate with their interests. And I hope it's okay, Michael, that I share this. Okay, so because I meant to talk to you in advance. One of those employee annual campaign objectives will be an endowed academic prize developed and supported by the Hccc Professional Association, which will be given to students annually in memory of the late Javed Khan, long-serving and beloved Hccc professor of English. We look forward to our continued progress and advancement activities, the development of a growing college endowment, which is new for us, and also major gift development as we plan for the college's 50th anniversary celebration in 2025-26. And the anniversary now is coming into full focus. It's going to commence in 25-26. That is the year following our formal 50th anniversary. This will allow us to celebrate with our new academic tower and other wayfinding improvements in place. Nicole, would you like to offer any brief? I've asked Nicole to offer brief. She's doing incredible work, and I've been remiss for not inviting her to speak more often, but to make a few comments. Nicole is now finishing how many months? You came in September. 7 months. She's a veteran. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you all. Good afternoon. I'm going to keep this brief. I just wanted to share information about 2 events, one in the past and one upcoming. On Thursday, May 12th, the foundation held its wine and cheese mixer, and that took place in collaboration with the college's West Hudson Scholarship Committee. It was held in the Gabriel Library Gallery, and it was attended by almost 75 community leaders and supporters of the committee and friends of the college. The event raised almost $5,000 through event tickets, raffles, and a number of individual gifts. And I would like to personally thank all those who made the event a success. Moving on to our upcoming golf outing to take place on Tuesday, July 19th. We have our foundation board member, Phil Johnston, to thank, who will host our outing at Forest Hill Country Club in Bloomfield, New Jersey. All proceeds from the outing will go to raise scholarship funding. We thank Phil for always being a host of our outing, at least for the last number of years. Let me give you a brief overview of the day. The outing will begin at 8 a.m. with a check-in and interaction with our foundation board members and all participants. Then following will be a breakfast and then a shotgun start at 9 a.m. with luncheon and awards and presentations with our donors and fellow golfers. For the first time this year, I am really excited to say that we are in search of a donor to financially support engaging 10 to 20 of our HCCC students at this year's outing with a strong interest in golf. Students will interact with our donors throughout the day, beginning with registration and breakfast. Participating students will enjoy a lecture and a lab clinic. During the lecture, which will be on the field the day of the tour, will include a tour of the course, and students will enjoy the following: discussions on the different areas of the country club, a discussion around the different aspects of the golf course. They'll get a thorough briefing on the different kinds of golf clubs and their intended purpose, and an introduction to all kinds of golf shots. After the lecture, students will be accompanied by their instructors, and they'll practice what they learned in lecture on the golf course through a clinic. Our security team will provide transportation to and from. I'm sharing this with you all in this forum because it's really important to me, and I know it's important to all of you, to increasingly engage our students in the work of the foundation, to bring them closer to the donors who are supporting their efforts every day, not to mention the DE&I equity issues, that the social capital that our students will gain by being at the table in these opportunities that allow for their increasing comfort and engagement and enjoyment of outings like this in areas that haven't always been as welcoming as we know they should be. I'm excited to be discussing this outing with you. I hope that you'll think about your colleagues external to the school who might be able to partner with us by providing sponsorship opportunity for this event. And you'll be getting information very shortly through email about how you can support this event and forward this to those who might be able to do so. That's what I wanted to share today, and I look forward to talking with you more about opportunities like this moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is an example of Nicole's, her fresh eyes and her really wonderful leadership. You know, there are golf outings happening constantly, right? Honestly, in the philanthropic world, they become, generally speaking, less and less successful because there's so many of them. This is the first time I've seen this really inspirational approach of bringing students into it. Some of whom may be fantastic golfers, and some may have never been behind a golf club or at a country club. And they're going to be actually with our foursomes throughout the day, interacting. So thank you for that really wonderful addition to this program and everything else you're doing. We really appreciate it, Nicole. So finally, 2 weeks ago, I had the honor of speaking at Bergen Community College for the BCC Foundation's recognition and installation of Dr. Eric Friedman as Bergen's 8th president. Eric and I have remained very close and are in regular contact as we each navigate our leadership journeys, and I know that many of you remain in touch with Eric. It was an honor to speak about Eric as a leader and as a human being, including a few humorous recollections. Eric's clearly doing exceptionally good work at Bergen, and he's found his sense of place there. And in my remarks, I expressed the appreciation of the HCCC family for Eric's 14-year legacy of contributions and achievements at Hudson County Community College. And just one fun aside, toward the end of the ceremony, which was sponsored by the Bergen Foundation, Eric said, "Thank you all." It was a huge audience under a tent. "Thank you all for being here and supporting our students. Would everyone who's made a gift to the Hudson County Community College Foundation please stand?" And I proudly stood. You had to be there, but it was nice. That's a nice note for me to end on. I do want to take this opportunity, I should have done this at the beginning, to recognize our valued colleague Omar Williams, who has so beautifully supported the whole college and has helped lead and manage our development and evolution into our new comprehensive website. We're losing Omar to East Stroudsburg University. Their gain is our loss, but it's much closer to his home and family. I think you finish formally at the end of May, right? June 1st. Let's not make it any worse than it is. But Omar, thank you so much for you've been a delight, wonderful colleague. Thank you. And I want to also recognize Christopher Fontanez, who has worked side by side with Omar and who will be moving into an interim full-time position. He's been part-time, and we will then be preparing to search for the successor to Omar in his position as our web manager. Okay, well now, we've had some conversation, and I know the hour is getting late, but I open the meeting to any questions, comments, and topics of celebration. Would anyone like to speak or offer comments? Is there anyone we missed? Okay, this is where okay.